Hello there, friends. I want to welcome you to another wonderful opportunity to be inspired, to be motivated. This is the African Development Network TV, and this is also the African Development Leadership Network. And our commitment is to make sure that we create the necessary environment for all top leaders and would-be leaders in Africa for them to make their contributions towards the development of the continent. So everywhere you are, as long as you are an African, whether you're domiciled in Africa or you're living in Sweden, Australia, any part of the world, America, United Kingdom, you are part of the developmental systems that we have been looking for a long time. And we trust that with time, as we work together, partner together, we're going to build a strong Africa. We're going to build a strong Egypt. We're going to build a strong Libya. We're going to build a strong Nigeria. We're going to build a strong Madagascar. We're going to build a strong Morocco. We're going to build a strong Tunisia. We're going to build a strong Sierra Leone, Liberia, Ghana, Cameroon. We're going to build a strong system that can cause unusual transformation and development in the continent of Africa. And let me also let us know that the African Development Network is being sponsored in the area of value systems by the Federal Transformation Assembly Incorporated, that deals with the value systems and growing up people in the way of godliness, in the way of honesty, character, integrity, and what have you. We also have the support of the Leeds Faith House, a group of companies that is in charge of the financial support that we always have in this movement. And the iGood Leadership Center. iGood means Initiative for Good Governance, Leadership, and Economic Development. That is a not-for-profit international organization that has the capacity to build up leaders in the 7 and 8 mountains of society. So everyone that is watching us, as long as you have a passion, you want to be part of the development of the continent of Africa, you want to be part of the development of your country, your community, your organization. It doesn't matter whether you are into medical research. Please, we need you. You are into government, political sphere, you are into economy and business, if you are into entertainment, sports, arts, culture, and all that, we want to work with you. We want to make sure that we give you the necessary platform to build your vision, to assist you in the things that you are doing. All right, today I will be focusing on the part that should be the part 5 of causes of underdevelopment in the continent of Africa, and to be specific, our wonderful, very powerful nation called Nigeria. And today I will be looking at how can we build a competitive economy. How can we build a competitive economy? How to become an economically competitive continent. How can Africa become an economically competitive continent? And how can Nigeria, how can your country build an economically competitive nation? And summarily and togetherly, we are going to build a competitive continent. It's almost looking like Africa has been relegated to the background for a long time, especially in the area of the economic advancement that we are looking up to, and we are desiring that within a space of time, as we work with experts like you, we build an economically competitive continent, an economically competitive Benin Republic, an economically competitive Cameroon. And I want you to know that this possibility, as it has always been our in this. Let's forget that. My name is Basik. I am the national president of the Initiative for Good Governance, Leadership, and Economic Development. Let's just go straight to our training session for today. Please click on the notification button should in case you didn't join us in the live training session. And once we drop it on our social media channels, you will be privileged to have access to them and then share to your friends. Let me read something that is very striking, about 3 of them or 4 of them, and then we build a foundation of what we want to achieve today in order to build an economically competitive country, an economically competitive organization, an economically competitive continent. Number 1 is that God is interested in the economic growth of nations. God is interested in the economic growth of nations. But he, however, doesn't have to come down to do for humans what they should do for themselves. God is interested in the economic growth of Japan in the same way he's interested in the economic growth of Nigeria. And this is very critical for everyone to understand. God is interested in the economic growth of America in the same way he's interested in the growth. He's interested in the economic growth of Kenya in the same way God is interested in the economic growth of Morocco. And God cannot just do anything without the cooperation of you and I, without the cooperation of so God doesn't like more than he likes Nigeria. He's interested in the economic advancement of the Asian tigers in the same way God is interested in the economic growth and competitiveness of a wonderful continent that is called Africa. And as it may, it is important for us to also understand as Africans that this is one of the reasons why we have so much large population of people and deposits of mineral resources, and the same way our Asian tiger brothers and American brothers, British brothers also have their own values and the same blessings of human and natural resources that God has given. Secondly, the second thing we need to note is this, that it will be impossible for any nation to become a first world nation if it does not use its wealth of time and human resources to engage in manufacturing activities. It is going to be impossible for any nation, it's going to be possible for any continent to become a first world nation if it does not use the wealth of time and productivity in the area of manufacturing activities. So manufacturing, I'm going to explain that very well. Manufacturing activities, they are one of those activities that every nation and every organization must actually engage in if she wants to be a first world nation, a first world continent, a first world company, a first world church, a first world mosque, a first world organization, a first world business empire. If you want to be a first world of anything that you bear, you must engage in manufacturing activities. The third thing that I need to say before I get into the training session proper is that even though God has given Africans abundant natural resources, we will still remain a poor continent if there are no people who are willing to invest their time into working on these natural resources through the subject and instrument of manufacturing. Let me just go to the fourth one. The fourth one is this, that one secret to becoming a first world nation for every citizen is for every citizen in themselves to build skills. for every citizen in themselves to build skills, talents, competence, and creativity using the wealth of time that they have. If you are not spending time to build skills, if you're not spending time to build talents, if you're not spending time to build competence and creativity as an individual, you will not be part of the few persons that are committed towards the transformation and the development of their community. You wouldn't be part of that. So in the same vein, as a nation or your nation can never become part of the competition in the positive light in the scheme of things economically without proper investment in skills, talent, competencies, and what have you. So having laid this foundation, I want to say one or two things, and then because of our time and ability or capacity of people to comprehend, there are, let me just highlight that there are about five steps in building a world-class economy. There are about 5 steps in building a world-class economy for us to be able to understand how Africa can build an economically competitive continent, how Kenya, how South Africa, how Madagascar, Mauritania, how Gambia, how South Africa, how Sierra Leone, Burkina Faso, Mali, Guinea-Conakry, Sierra Leone can build a competitive economy. There are about 5 steps. I'm going to just mention that, and as long as everyone has the capacity to apply these principles, it doesn't matter whether you're from the Asian Tigers, American, or United Kingdom, the British people. As long as you give attention to these, I want to let you know that within a space of time, 5, 2, 3, 6, 8, 10 years, we'll be able to build a competitive economy. We have seen that happen in different countries and different nations all over the world. Before, we saw a country like India, very impoverished, but over time India has become one of the most sought after nations. We have seen that happen in China. We have seen that also happen in United Arab Emirates. Number one is this, and this is very critical. Please pay close attention. Number one, we must have value for time and productivity of time. We must have value for time and productivity of time. Until Africa, until you and I, until we Africans, until your organization, until people that are working with you in that establishment, in that church, in that system, begin to give attention, most absolute regard and attention of time in productivity. Until we do that, we cannot become a first world organization. We cannot become a first world institution. We cannot become a first world church. We cannot become a first world community. We cannot become a first world state. We cannot become a first world county. We cannot become a first world nation. Neither can we become a first world continent. Number two is that we must build factories, more factories than religious institutions. We must take our time to build more factories. We must take our time to build more factories. I mentioned earlier about manufacturing, and you find out that we have a very, very, very funny system, especially in Nigeria, where they will not want to give attention to power supply. You cannot build factories without a strong power generating system. Sometimes I just keep wondering why people come out and when they want to do politics in Nigeria and in several countries. I've been to some countries in Africa, and I found out that power system has been a very big challenge, inability to generate enough power, and where this power is being generated, uneven distribution of this power system has been a very big problem. And as long as that is not put in place, you cannot talk about the issue or the concept of manufacturing. Number three is that we must export more than we import. Please, this is very critical. We must export more than we import. As long as Africa, as long as an organization, as long as a system is not producing something that outsiders must buy into, we cannot grow economically. We cannot be, you wouldn't be able to survive competition. There's a whole lot of competition. Be it a church system, one of the reasons why a particular church is growing more than the other, is making more money more than the other, is that this A church is producing more products, is creating more products, and they are pushing more products into the society more than this other one. As long as there is always an increase in the products that are being released and unleashed by a particular organization, and the other organization is in the habit of buying from this other organization that is producing, this organization that is producing will definitely become a first world organization, will definitely become a first world village, will definitely become a first world marketplace, will definitely become a first world institution, will definitely become a first world community, a first world state, a first world nation, a first world continent. It's a very simple thing. China has become a first world nation, not by prayers, not by building several religious centers, but by their complete involvement in building several manufacturing companies, from electronics to automobile, from automobile to fast-moving consumer goods. And over time, the African nations keep going to China to buy. And within a space of 15 years, China has become a first world nation because of consistent exportation of goods and services that they have taken about 15 years or 20 years now to build. And this is not a rocket science. It happens to individuals. As an individual, I need to begin to see myself as an institution. I am not worried about the kind of money I need to make. I shouldn't be worried about how much of money that I have. All I need is to make sure that out of me as an institution, I want to see myself as a manufacturing company. My name is Barrister Ikenna Emmanuel. I am Barrister Ikenna Emmanuel as a manufacturing company. I am a manufacturing company. So all I need is to keep making sure that I give out more products. My intention, my responsibility is to keep exporting more products. The products can be my training sessions. The product can be my ideas, my wisdom, can be my education. The products can be the experiences I have. The products can be anything that is found around me. So the more of my products that I have the capacity and willingness to export, and the more people buy into that my product and exchange it for monetary terms, I will definitely become rich. And that's the same way it applies to you. You need to begin to see yourself as an industry. You need to begin to see yourself as a China. You need to begin to see yourself as United Kingdom. You need to begin to see yourself like America. You need to begin to see yourself as Japan, as Germany, so that you don't need to bother about that. You now ask yourself, how much products do I have to export? And this is what I have taken some time to talk about when it has to do with human capital development. And the fourth one has to do with that we must learn how to harness our natural resources. We must learn how to harness our natural resources. Let me now come to explain what I mean by this. I'm going to read it, and I might just stop at that while I ask you to wait for the next video because of the time that we have at our disposal. I made mention of these 4 to 5 things that must be done by Africans, must be done by individuals if we want to be a first world nation in technology, a first world nation in entertainment, a first world nation in politics and governance. Number one, let me just try to explain, is that we must build more factories, manufacturing establishments. And coincidentally, this is what we're doing at the Leeds Fade House group of companies. we intend expanding in over 20 brands in the area of manufacturing, creating systems that can actually deal with the issue of unemployment in Africa, unemployment in Nigeria, unemployment in our system. And this is one of the reasons why China is making a lot of money, because most Nigerians, most Africans from different nations want to visit China. They want to visit Cyprus. They want to go and have Canadian visa. They want to travel to go and work. Why? Not because of any spiritual stuff like that. I believe in spirituality. I believe in spirituality 100%. But most of the people that migrate, they are not going there to go and pray. They're not going there to go and do praise and worship. They are going there to work. They are going there to be productive, because those countries have taken some time to build more factories. They have taken some time to build more manufacturing systems. I want to let Africans know. I want to let Nigerians know. I want to let my fellow pastors, my fellow lawyers, my fellow businessmen, my fellow entrepreneurs, we need to begin a kind of crusade in building more factories in Africa. While we build the churches, every church should be able to build at least one factory. If every church happens to build at least one factory, create one business brand, while we build the churches, we need to also build the factories so that people from the church can actually begin to work in the factories. So that if there's a time for service, they go to service and worship God, and then they move in and they're going to work in those factories, become productive, and invariably you find out that the issue of unemployment will reduce drastically, if not absolutely. Let me just read this, and this is a very strong move. It's a very powerful move that we need to give attention to. Let me just read this for you. The amount of time given to manufacturing activities in any nation determines to a large extent how large the economy of that nation will be. I repeat, please pay attention. The amount of time given in the manufacturing activities in any nation determines to a large extent how large the economy of that nation will be. So it's not a rocket science. It's not an issue of prayer. What we just need to do in Africa is to increase our capacity, our manufacturing capacity. We need to begin to manufacture goods and services. We need to begin to give attention to the issue of manufacturing if we want to build a competitive economy. Let me just go ahead. In first world countries, there are numerous number of factories and manufacturing companies, numerous number of factories and manufacturing companies. And statistics about the world's manufacturing output in 2015 reveals. I want to read for us statistics about the world's manufacturing output in 2015. It reveals that, number one, that Chinese manufacturing output was the highest in the world in 2015. Chinese manufacturing output was the highest in the world. That's about $2.0 trillion. That in 2015, it has actually increased by now. In 2015, the manufacturing output of China was $2.0 trillion. So why wouldn't China rise up to be a first world nation? Why wouldn't China become a part of the people that are championing competition in the global economic system? It's very simple. They have increased manufacturing activities. They have actually increased numerous factories that move from fast-moving consumer goods to agricultural products, dairy products, electronics, automobile, or what have you. They have gone into printing, they have gone into education, they have gone into innovation, they have gone into technology, they have gone into wide scope of entertainment, and with time, these people have taken some time to build without prayers. But we need to also do that as a continent. We need to also do that as individuals. Number two, please listen. United States of America, their manufacturing output totaled 1.9 trillion, and that is the second highest in the world. You know what is the problem is that we have so much and so many churches in America. And also we have manufacturing companies, we have business enterprises in America that is still thriving and producing tangible products, exportable products, while we still have churches that are also thriving powerfully. So what is the problem with Africa? What's the problem with Nigeria? Who told you that we cannot be building churches? Who told you that we cannot be building churches and at the same time building factories? At the same time creating employment systems that will bring unusual economic advancement in our nation. Number 3 is that the United Kingdom's manufacturing output was $244 billion. That is the 9th highest in the world. In that same statistics of 2015, the United Kingdom, their manufacturing output was $244 billion. That is the 9th highest in the world. So we just took China, United Kingdom, and United States of America. You find out that it is this same Britain that brought Christianity to Nigeria. This same Britain brought Christianity to Africa. This same most countries in Africa. It's this same Britain that is now creating opportunities for the same Africans to come over to look for a job. So something is missing somewhere. Let's go ahead. So dear friends, it's easy for us to see from the statistics above why China, US, and UK are among the world leading economies today. The reason is simply because of the number of factories and manufacturing activities that go on in those countries. It will be impossible for any nation to become a first world nation if it does not use these abilities to create manufacturing systems. A nation that manufactures nothing will have nothing for its own consumption. And this is just a very simple, practical scenario of what is going on in Africa, of what is going on in Nigeria. And I believe that this is one of the things that we have decided to bring across several millions of Africans, just like you. And this is what the African Development Network is all about. This is what the African Development Leadership Network is all about. We are making sure we partner with several people like you and I. Several people who have passion, who want to create systems, not just for subsistence or personal aggrandizement, but a system that could be created to reduce the level or the rate of unemployment. Let's also begin to summarize. I said a nation that manufactures nothing, we have the majority of the citizens unemployed. A nation that manufactures nothing will have the majority of the citizens unemployed. But the nation that invests time into manufacturing and industry will have more than enough food and products for its own consumption and for exportation. So more so, such a nation with high manufacturing capacity will have a low rate of unemployment. I'm going to explain that. Let's go again. It is, however, unfortunate that Nigeria and Africa and several African nations will rather use their time in building religious centers only instead of building factories and manufacturing companies together with the churches. Instead of building factories and manufacturing companies together with the churches, just like we see it in United Kingdom, just like we see it in United States. So it is not as if it is wrong to build churches. But if we are going to become a first world nation, we must churches. If we are going to become an economically competitive nation, we must use more of our time in manufacturing activities, just like we have taken this amount of time in our church activities, in our religious activities. So it's very, very critical. What have I been able to succeed to let you know? I've been able to let everyone that is an African You need to understand this particular truth, that the reason why we are not competitive enough in the area of economy, the reason why we cannot be listed as one of the competitive nations in the area of economic transformation and economic prosperity in Africa, or whatever your country is all about, the name of your country, is because we have not taken time to increase the manufacturing activities, ability to create products and goods and services that are exportable. We keep importing. As Africans, we import everything we need to. In fact, it has come to the point that we have come to the point where we need to now import human beings to help us harness the natural resources in his magnanimity to give to us as Africans. So everyone that is an African, everyone that is a pastor, everyone that is an imam, everyone that is a leader, everyone that desires to be part of the development and the transformation of Africa, we need to understand that the way to go if we want to create an economically competitive economy is to begin to increase our capacity in the area of manufacturing, in the area of building of factories, in the area of creating wide scope of businesses in the entertainment sector, businesses in the agricultural sector, businesses in the medical sector, businesses in the fast-moving consumer goods sector, businesses in the area of paramedics, businesses in the area of politics, businesses in the area of arts and culture. As long as we have decided to give attention more to religious activities than manufacturing activities, it's going to be quite difficult for us as a continent, for us as a nation, to fight unemployment. It's not rocket science. I've always said it. It's going to be difficult for us to have food on our table. There's going to be the inflation is going to be on the increase. There's going to be famine. There's going to be deprivation. There's going to be wickedness. There's going to be poverty. There's going to be penury. There's going to be malnutrition. There's going to be competition, unwholesome and unhealthy competition among churches, among religious organizations. Why? Because there's this strife, there's this fight, there is this agitation in trying to become something, because there's few resources that are made available and much people are competing for it. So as an individual, if you want to beat competition anywhere you're found, make sure that you begin to see yourself as a United Kingdom person. Make sure you begin to see yourself as a China person. Make sure you begin to see yourself as a USA person. And you begin to increase the products that you have. You begin to increase the product that you can export. You begin to invest in yourself as an individual. If you have an organization, begin to increase the number of products that that organization can export to other people, can export to other communities, can export to other nations, can export to neighboring environments. And within a space of time, you are going to rise up as a first world entity. That organization is going to rise up as a first world business empire, and you're going to suffocate competition. The world is highly competitive in all spheres of endeavor, in the medical sector, in the legal practice, in the field of aeronautic engineering, in the field of automobile engineering, in the field of electrical electronics engineering, in the field of civil engineering, in the field of surveying, in all spheres of society. Even in the music industry, there's a lot of competition. So what do you need to do? You need to begin to see yourself as an industry. And the more you do that, the more you're advancing, the more you're helping more people to advance, the more you're engaging partnership, and the more you're expanding, and the more your vision is coming to fruition and realization. And ultimately, you're transforming your society, you're transforming yourself, you're transforming your economy, and you're transforming the continent of Africa. And this is why the African Development Network, we are here to partner with you to make sure that that dream becomes a reality. All right, till I see you in the next video, please hook up with us. I'm done with this session now. I'm your friend and your brother, Barisiken Emmanuel, the international president of the International Center for Leadership, Diplomacy, Economic, and Human Development. Have this at the back of your mind. You are an industry. Do well and share this video to your friends, your relatives. Let's hook up on the WhatsApp number that is online, and then check us up on our website. Till I see you next time, do have a nice day. Long live Africa, long live Nigeria, long live you that is committed to leadership development and national transformation.